going to be honest, I have very mixed feelings about protesting right now. On the one hand, I am a First Amendment absolutist. I believe that it is our right to protest peacefully on any issue that we want to advocate for, regardless of whether other people agree with that issue or not. On the other hand, though, things are very, very tense right now, and I feel like these scenarios could have a much greater risk to spiral out of control very, very, very quickly. I am very concerned about what is going to happen between now and January 20th. I am extremely concerned about what is going to happen in Washington, D.C. on January 20th. And I just want to really recommend and plead with you guys, do not go to Washington, D.C. on January 20th. I'm going to tell you right now, as of this moment, I do not plan on going anywhere for the rest of the month. That is my hope. Now, there is an outside possibility. I could actually see scenarios where I might travel and maybe go do a rally if it was organized by people that I trusted, people that I knew that weren't rabble-rousers, people that I've been doing rallies with for the past 6 months. I could see a scenario where that might happen if we're going to do some sort of free speech rally. But I also want to emphasize that you need to be very careful. People are on edge, and the left has reached a peak of I feel like Trump derangement syndrome has absolutely peaked this week, where they are now labeling anyone who has ever supported Donald Trump ever as a far-right, dangerous, violent, crazy person. And you guys gotta understand, this is real. This is real. So while I will never, ever, 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 ever tell you that you should not exercise your First Amendment protections to protest peacefully, I will say that I think that right now, you should be very careful about how you're exercising that amendment. And listen, I am not generally scared of this stuff. I'm not. I was in rallies all summer long. We had Black Lives Matter protesters at our rallies all the time. I am not generally scared of this stuff, but I'm staying put, speaking for myself. And I bring this up because this article just popped up on my screen. Police create security perimeter around Twitter headquarters ahead of reported pro-Trump protests. This is from Rebel News. Police have placed a security perimeter around the entrance to Twitter's headquarters in San Francisco amid reports that pro-Trump supporters are expected to descend upon the building in protest of President Donald Trump being permanently banned from the platform. Now, it is important to say that at this point, Trump supporters are not actually the only people who have qualms about Trump being banned from Twitter. In fact, the ACLU, which stopped defending the civil liberties of people that it disagreed with a long time ago, the ACLU has even come out and said, this is not a precedent. And in fact, Angela Merkel from Germany just this morning, I think, came out and said, no, this is not acceptable. It is not acceptable for a tech platform to ban a world leader. That is not acceptable. What Twitter has done and what all of these big tech companies have done is prove emphatically beyond any stretch of the imagination, they have proven that they are more powerful than the government. And that should terrify everyone. This should not be a left versus right issue. This should not be a Democrat versus Republican issue. We are and I've been saying this for months, guys, but we are very literally living in a time where you either want liberty and freedom or you want authoritarianism and totalitarianism. That is what we're living in. Either you are in favor of censorship or you are not in favor of censorship. And what Twitter and all these tech companies have done is shown that they are literally more powerful than the federal government. They have shown that they are literally more powerful than the people that you elected. No one elected anyone at Twitter. No one elected anyone at Facebook. No one elected anyone at Amazon. And yet they are the ones with all the power. This is not a left versus right issue, except that it's going to continue to be classified as one by the media because that is what the media does. The San Francisco Chronicle reports the calls for a protest at Twitter's headquarters were posted on a far-right forum that emerged as an offshoot of the subreddit, The Donald, which Reddit banned last year, where users were posting, planning, and organization around the January 6th riots at the U.S. Capitol. Now, I'm going to say, because I have to offer this caveat all the time now, I don't support what they did. I do not support violence. There's articles that have come out basically saying that they were planning this whole thing in plain view and no one did anything about it. So who is really actually to blame in this scenario? Now, I don't think you can take the blame off the people who planned it. They're absolutely to blame. But why didn't the Capitol Police do anything about it? Why didn't the Sergeant at Arms in Congress do anything about it? Why didn't anyone else do anything about this? I don't understand. And like what people need to understand too is a lot of Trump supporters are really pissed at the people who did this. They screwed all of us with this action. And so don't think that this is a scenario where anyone is defending these people. I have not talked to a single person that has defended the people that planned to take over. Like, I can't even imagine. I was completely fine going to the Capitol, screaming out on the lawn, yelling, that's protected First Amendment right, man, peacefully. Not what they did. I'm not okay with that. The paper reports that some members of the forum suggested carrying zip ties similar to the ones being photographed by several rioters on the Senate floor last Wednesday. That was stupid. The publication also suggested the possibility that protesters intended to get into the homes of Twitter employees, including CEO Jack Dorsey. You know, I was in on a conversation just the other day where someone suggested actually having a rally at Jack Dorsey's house, and I immediately said, no, that is not a good idea, because we're setting a precedent with that it is okay to go to people's homes, and I do not believe it is okay to go to people's homes. I was not okay with Black Lives Matter showing up at Josh Hawley's home on January 4th or 5th, whenever they did that. I was not okay with that. I'm not okay with people showing up at people's homes. San Francisco PD has been in contact with representatives from Twitter. A San Francisco Police Department representative told TechCrunch in a statement, "We will have sufficient resources available to respond to any demonstrators, as well as calls for service citywide." Twitter banned Trump last Friday, calling violence in the Capitol building in D.C. when tens of thousands of Trump supporters, led on by a vanguard, blah, 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 whatever. Trump was banned. We all know that. So they're setting up to protest at Twitter. Now, it is important to note that Twitter's employees are not even working in that building right now. They're working from home. So this is not really an exercise in protecting any single person. This is an exercise in protecting the building and protecting property, which, frankly, I don't blame them for. I don't blame them for it all after what happened on Wednesday. But again, guys, please, if you're going to go out and do this stuff, I will never tell anyone not to exercise their First Amendment rights to peacefully protest. But I'm just begging you, please be smart. Please do not throw all of us under the bus with your actions, because that is exactly what has happened in the last week. And it was completely avoidable on both sides. On both sides. This was completely avoidable. But here we are, and we have to manage it, and it is not okay what the big tech companies are doing, and no one with a right mind should believe that it's okay. Well, I'll keep you updated when I know more. That's all I've got for this particular video. If you enjoy my content, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel, turning on notifications, all that good stuff. I do daily content. I'm going to be doing a lot of content right now just because there's a lot of stuff to talk about around news, politics, culture. I usually do social justice stuff, but, you know, there are more important things right now than complaining about crazy woke people on the internet. That's all I've got for right now, folks. I'll see you soon.